One of the biggest trends for spring is the bold lip. Colors like this deep purple, fuchsia, and this bright orange, which is what I have on right now.
South Africa is definitely a place to look at. The safaris, the wildlife is bar none. The food is amazing, beautiful hotels, and the culture there is fantastic.
This is beautiful.
There you go.
Isn't this beautiful, guys?
At the front door, out on where you can see it from your balcony, you know, on your window, from the kitchen window.
So we're just going to give her a stronger shape in through the back. That way it'll give her a much fuller look.
What I'm gonna do is contour her cheeks. I'm going to contour her neck.
Are you excited?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah?
Can't wait.
Does everyone want to see Sula? Yeah? Why don't we bring her out? Woo!
From the Zoomerplex in historic Liberty Village, the Zoomer with Marissa Semkiw.
Hello and welcome to a special spring edition of the Zoomer. I'm Marissa Semkiw. We have an exciting show lined up. Today we'll get you spring ready with some hands-on seasonal fun. I'm joined by several experts who will tackle everything from affordable travel advice to tips on avoiding a stale garden. After all, with the newness of spring comes a desire to refresh both our surroundings and ourselves. So today we begin with Sula, who will receive a real-time makeover. Have a look.
Hi there, my name is Sula Zazidis, and I'm turning 50 this year. I work here at Zoomer Media in the radio department, radio sales department as a media sales advisor.
I already bought your shoes last time.
No, I have to get new ones.
Being a working mom, I have 3 boys that take a lot of my time, and I really don't, you know, you kind of leave yourself at the end and take care of yourself last. So 2017 is a new chapter in my life. I'm recently selling my condo, and I'm buying another condo closer to the city, so it'll make life a little bit easier for me. Over the years, my look is pretty basic, the same every day, and I'm kind of getting bored of it, and I, you know, want to change, maybe have a fresh new look for a fresh new start.
Okay, so we have the team here. We have Robert on hair, Genya on makeup, Sula, the beautiful Sula right there in the middle. We'll get to you in a second, but Robert, why don't you start by telling us what you'll do with her hair?
Sure. Well, in the spring, the hottest trends right now are slick ponytails and lots of texture, but we need to work with the hair textures that we have and the face shapes, and obviously what she's going to be able to do, you know, at home herself.
On her own, yeah.
Yeah. So. Her hair's a little bit fine, so we need to keep the length in through the front. We have a little bit of a heart shape that we're working with, so we need as much fullness and length here in the front. But as we can see, if we just turn her head, quite a bit of length in the back, so we're just going to give her a stronger shape in through the back. That way it'll give her a much fuller look.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
she'll do some trimming.
Yeah, a little bit of trimming. She promised me she wasn't going to freak out. So we're going to give her a nice blowout, work with her hair texture. I love that she has lots of natural curl, so we're going to work with that just to give her lots of volume, and so she'll be able to work at home quite nicely with it.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing it. And Genya, how about makeup?
So for the spring, bright colors are in. Oranges, bright pinks, and contouring the face is really important. What I'm gonna do is contour her cheeks. I'm going to contour her neck. And I don't think I'm gonna use a bright color on her eyes because she is a Zoomer after all. But strengthen the eyebrows a bit and give her a bright lip because that's where it lies.
What does it mean to contour? How will you do that?
I'm going to make her cheekbones stand out, and as we get older, sometimes we get a little bit of the, what do you want to call it, dribble right over here. With contour, we can push it back so that it looks fabulous and looks like you don't have it in photographs.
Oh, I love it. All right, well, of course, you'll show her some tips along the way as well, but Sula, gotta ask, are you excited?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah?
Can't wait.
Okay, that's great. Well, I look forward to seeing you in a little bit. We'll check on you throughout the show, so why don't you guys head off into the makeup room? Yeah. All right, but first, what is on your bucket list? No doubt travel's at the top. If you're thinking of booking an adventure, you'll want to stay tuned.
And Peru and Machu Picchu, the hiking, the accessibility, and the trains. The trains are luxury. You can get all over the country on beautiful trains, and it's a great deal against the loonie.
My colleague Vivian, Vassos, executive editor at Zoomer Mag, has the latest on what's trending in travel and the best destinations this spring. So take note.
Canadians looking to travel in 2017 and combine those things, travel, passion, the bigger bang for the buck, and the bucket list. South Africa is definitely a place to look at. The safaris, the wildlife is bar none. It's fantastic. You get to meet new people, great for solo travel as well. And the rand against the dollar is quite economical. It really is a deal to go because the dollar is strong against the South African rand. The food is amazing, so you're getting top-notch 3-star dinners, you're getting beautiful hotels, and the culture there as well. They're really stepping it up from the city perspective. Don't just go on safari. Stop in Johannesburg, go to Cape Town, experience the wine, experience the street art. It's an amazing long distance destination, but at the same time worth spending a couple of weeks there. One of the things that I think is a big bang for your buck is when there's very little jet lag, and South America is the spot. The flight is long, but the time zones are very similar to Eastern Canada. So even if you're flying from the west, you're getting a similar sort of jet lag that you get from Vancouver to Montreal, let's say. And Ecuador and Peru are at the top of the list in South America right now. The Galapagos, you want to go before they go. Environmentally, they're beautiful. Again, if you're into wildlife, they are definitely a hot spot. And Peru and Machu Picchu, the hiking, the accessibility, and the trains. The trains are luxury. You can get all over the country on beautiful trains, and it's a great deal against the loonie. We always go back to the UK. Our readers love the United Kingdom. It's accessible, it's so easy to get to, particularly from Eastern Canada, and there's new flights being introduced all the time from Calgary and Vancouver, and surprisingly, it doesn't take that much longer to fly there because of the routes and the way they fly now. But also with the pound dropping and Brexit, it's a kind of a good thing for Canadians. It's more accessible. You've got top chefs in London, the scenery in England, it's absolutely beautiful, and it connects to a lot of our roots. But also Scotland. Scotland is a place where you can really experience the outdoors. Canadians are outdoorsy. We've got great outdoors. But here you can combine it with a history, maybe an ancestral history, a deep culture, a connection to Europe, and golf. And they love golf. And it's challenging. And golf is one of those things where I think our readers and Zoomers in general really want the challenge. They want to step up their game, and Scotland is the place to do it.
Spring is in full swing, and so whether or not you're preparing a destination golf trip or you're just eager to get back on the links, there are a couple of things that you need to know. And for that, we turn to our golf pro, Jaime Steedman, to walk us through some of it. So take it away. What's the first step?
First step, get those golf clubs out of the garage.
Out of hibernation.
Wherever they've been, exactly. Make sure you have a look, take an inventory of your golf bag, make sure there's tees, balls, you have a clean, fresh towel. It can be muddy in the spring, so make sure you have particularly a ball marker and that fresh towel because you will use it. Also, make sure that your grips, they are clean, and the really simple way to do that is actually just get some mild soap and just rinse them off. Also, preparation is key. So preparation, it might have been a little bit of time since we got outdoors, started to get our activity going again. There's a little dynamic warm-up that I like to do. It only takes a few minutes. I'll give you a golf club. So the best part about this warm-up, it's a dynamic warm-up, which means it's not static. We want to make sure that the muscles are getting warmed up and moving at the same time. So I'll have you just set the club right across the shoulders there, perfect. And we're just going to start making swings back and forth and just focusing on turning the torso and getting the body moving, okay? And now the next step to this is now we're gonna start to turn the belt buckle. So now we're turning the shirt.
I see my dad doing this a lot, actually.
Exactly, and it's really integrating both a torso rotation as well as lower body rotation and starting to get the whole body warmed up to the golf swing because of course, it's not just an action that we used only our arms for. Second part of that is actually just warming up the lower body. And these are just going to be leg swings. So you're going to start always a count of 8, and they're going to be swinging forward. We're going to take that right leg, and now we're going to go into lateral swings.
Okay, and this is just warming up Warming up the leg?
You got it. Warming up the hips, warming up the hip flexors, getting the body actually to start to feel a bit more engaged so that we'll actually use the body throughout the golf swing.
Because you can pull a muscle pretty easily in this sport. It doesn't look like it, but you can pull muscles.
It's true. And then once your body feels warmed up, another great drill that you can do, and you can do this at home. I've actually brought a prop for you to use. I'll grab that club and I'll exchange the Kleenex or the tissue box there for you. And I'm going to use a bucket. This is just a standard range bucket. You could use a pail. In the case of you, Marissa, there, you've got the tissue box. Now what you're going to do is hold it on either side. Fantastic. And then you're going to bring your feet shoulder width apart. Fantastic, good. Now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to turn your body and you're going to turn this way. Fantastic. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to take a piece of tissue. Now you'll go back down to the middle where you were and then all the way through and you're going to give me that tissue.
Oh.
This is a really great at-home drill. You don't even need a golf club. Tissue? And in this case, we spared the first row here of our audience getting a club. Tissue? Fantastic. And likewise, if I were to use the bucket, so it's the same principle. I'm going to turn, fill up the bucket, back to the middle, and then I'm going to fill up the bucket on the other side. So it's really promoting that whole rotational movement.
I can honestly say I'm getting very warm doing this. Combination of
it happens quickly. It happens quickly. Too many of us go from the car straight to the first tee, and we don't sort of allow ourselves to properly warm up. So these are, it doesn't take very long, but it's a great little drill. Now we can't forget the most important part of the golf game, which is the short game. So unless you've been diligently practicing in your living room over the winter, this is one area that that does require a little bit of tuning up come springtime.
Okay.
So one great little drill.
Here, I'll let you go on this side so you can show our audience. There you go.
One great little drill. I find a lot of students will miss quite short putts, and they'll say, "Why am I missing these short putts?" The reason is that they're looking up or anticipating the putt itself, rather than simply just making the stroke and letting the ball go in the hole.
So keep your head down.
Essentially, it's listen for the ball to go in. Listen for the ball to go in. So when you execute this putt, and all I'm going to do is just keep my nose pointed at the ball, and I'm going to listen for the ball to go in. Great for short putts, because of course, as soon as we look up or we get really anticipating the outcome, we raise the putter, and of course the outcome is less than desirable. So have a go.
Oh, okay. All right. It's been a while, but let's see.
Awesome. So the key is just listen for it to go in. That's it. That was a great stroke. That was a very good putting stroke.
All right. Well, I won't bore you all day long. Okay. Well, thank you, Jaime. That was amazing. Thank you so much for all of those tips. They were absolutely great, and I look forward to using them. So, coming up, how to give your garden a makeover. Charlie Dobbin is here next, but before we leave you, we'll check in on Sula and the makeup room.
Always plant closer than you would expect in a container, because it will just look that much better.
Welcome back. Well, spring is sprung. So what does that mean? It means it's time to get your hands a little dirty. Charlie Dobbins is here. She's going to walk us through some steps to give your garden a makeover. What are the things we're looking at as we head into spring?
Great question. And you know what? The thing that people are most afraid of is pruning.
Oh,
and
interesting.
spring is a good time to do it. I'm not sure why people think they'll kill something when they prune it. So we're gonna just go over some of the basic tips about pruning. I brought a few shrubs to demonstrate on.
Great.
Number one, this one here, the green one, is an evergreen. So very common in our foundation plantings, sun or shade, don't prune it in the spring. I brought it to show you, don't prune it.
When do you prune it?
When
Summer?
it's really starting to grow, and that'll be June, usually late May. You'll get bright, bright green, new tips, new foliage.
Yeah.
Then you happily can pull out your pruners or your hedge shears or your loppers. And in a case like this, this is typically grown as a hedge, and you'll just give it a haircut right across the top.
Okay, and why wouldn't you do it now? I mean, it looks like it's ready for a haircut.
It is ready for a haircut, but you know what? In order to cover the pruning cuts, we do the pruning on the evergreens when they're actively growing, and what happens is the new growth covers the cuts.
Okay.
So it doesn't look bad at all. Right. Whereas with plants like this, these are deciduous, 2 little shrubs I brought. Now the red stem is a dogwood, very common plant, again, in our gardens. And the one beside it is a really very tangled up willow. So lots of extra unnecessary branches in there. In the spring, easy to see what's going on. We're gonna remove anything that's dead.
How do you know, is it, so the brown, so for example, on this red tree, the brown.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So there's a little stem there that's a different color from the live stems. So the nice red is alive, and that brown dried up stem is clearly not. Okay. So we'll pull out our sharp pruners or secateurs, and we'll just follow down on the dead, and we'll just make a nice clean cut right where that is coming from. We'll just take out the dead.
And this is both for health reasons and aesthetic reasons.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, because that dead isn't going to grow, obviously. Then we stand back and go, okay, what about shaping this plant to really make it look a little better? Something like this little branch is going to start turning into the center of the plant. See how it's got that curve on it?
Yeah.
I don't want that growing into the plant. I want it growing out from the center.
How about this plant? I mean, obviously we're seeing the colors are the same.
Yeah, you're
so
not seeing the dead quite as obvious. Yeah. But you know what? It is there. Okay. It's all crispy. And you know how it's kind of... So right now, until... See the little new growth coming?
Yep.
So give this plant a couple of weeks, you'll see it'll be more obvious what's dead and alive. But for now, we know we don't want this whole tangled mess in the middle. Okay. Right? So we're going to clear out any of this... you know, mess in the middle.
And will that inhibit growth if it is there?
Well, what'll happen is sunshine can't get in.
Right.
No air circulation, and so poor growth in the center and often disease.
Okay. All right. Okay, so then
there's that.
How about seeding?
Well,
seeding. What we got next?
Oh, I know, and I thought you might have some fun with this because I understand you are in a position to have a real garden now.
That's true. I just bought a house. I became a house owner, and so we're very looking forward to planting our own garden.
There you go.
So I'm learning all kinds of tips, actually.
That's right. So here, notice what I've got here. I've got different sort of cells. Okay, this is a little cell pack. I've brought a little Jiffy 7 mini greenhouse. Okay. Or next to it, you'll see something called plantable pots. But the main thing is, notice I've got a seeding mix.
Okay, so you don't take, obviously, the mix from your garden. That
Never.
would be the wrong thing to do.
Never, and nor do you just use a regular potting soil, because this is a finer mix than just a regular potting soil. We would moisten the soil before we plant, but I do have water in the watering can. Just water till it starts to run through. It'll take a little while because it's quite dry. It's very peat-based.
Okay, and so here we got the seeds.
Right, so I brought 2 kinds, So kale, wild garden frills, very popular, edible and ornamental, this plant. And of course, tomatoes, the #1 vegetable that everybody loves.
I love tomatoes.
So before we plant, we
because
read the
edibles
back.
are very popular.
It's true. That's where the real growth is these days in terms of trends in gardening. It is all about edibles.
Because they're so fresh, they taste so good.
Oh, I know. You can't beat it.
I know.
And it's price-wise. I mean, one little package of tomato seeds is what, $1.99?
Is that the case?
And you can grow bushels of tomatoes versus buying, you know, bushels of tomatoes for $2.50. So we always read. So to start plants, this is to start indoors or to start directly in the garden. So going down, it says plant 2 inches apart, cover 1/2 inch deep. Okay. What does it say on the tomatoes?
So seeds 1/4 inch deep and 1 inch apart in the container of seed starting mix.
Right, so you're going 1/4 inch and I'm going 1/2 inch with mine. So I'm gonna put a little more water in here.
And you only need about 3 seeds.
Yeah, I always like to do at least 3 seeds per cell. And then we may have to thin if all 3 come up. But we may not, right?
Okay. So I just sprinkle them in?
Yep, sprinkle 3 seeds just in the center. Okay. There you go.
All right.
And then we're gonna cover, right, with that 1/2 inch. And then you're gonna water again. Meanwhile, we'll drop a few little kales in here, and these are just going the 1/4 inch deep. Perfect.
There we go. And so how long will it take before we see the fruits of this soil?
Usually about 10 days. And the way we speed it up, warmth from below. I like to put my seeds on top of my refrigerator if there's a space above, because it's always warm on top of refrigerators. Put a hood on top, keeps the moisture in, and check every couple of days. As soon as the green sprouts start to show, we get this whole container into the sunlight.
That's incredible.
Under lights.
That's very fast.
But they don't need light until they start growing.
Okay, good to know. All right.
And then the next really fun thing we do in the spring, and this is definitely fun, is beautify the front door. Get some color, get some action there.
Absolutely.
I brought some pansies. Pansies handle the cold, so even if we have some below 0 temperature, it'll be fine. And you can eat the flowers if you want to do something with them as well.
Okay.
I did put some potting soil into this pot. I will mention there's drainage holes.
Okay.
Never plant into a pot that doesn't have drainage holes. So this is simple. I'm gonna just pop these out. See a bunch of roots there? We could loosen them if we wanted to get pretty fancy. Yeah. But, you know, fairly short-term plants. This is a sweet plant. Do you know what? Have you ever seen that?
No, but I want to smell it.
It's called ranunculus.
I like it.
And again, handles the cool. Oops, sorry, I don't want to throw dirt on you.
That's all right.
You're way too clean
I
for
said
me.
that we were meant to get dirty on this thing.
And one more smelly thing that's not quite up yet, but just coming, are hyanths I brought. I love hyacinths. Of all the spring bulbs,
You can hear the audience all.
Yeah, they like their hyacinths too. So we're just gonna kind of bang these in, always plant close. Get some yellow in there. Always plant closer than you would expect in a container, because it will just look that much better. Come on, come on. In the garden, we would give some space because these plants would need some space between them, but for now, we're just gonna bang them in fairly tight. And I've brought some pussy willow stems. Here, you wanna put one of these in?
Sure.
I'll take it out of the pot, you pick a spot.
All right.
Just leave that center spot so that we can, there you go. There, you see? I'm telling you, you're a natural. Here, I know, it's just shaking the dirt
Slowly.
off. One more, you wanna do one more?
Yeah, perfect,
All
okay,
right.
there we go.
One more there, and then we can, we got one more pansy. We can just fit it in. We'll jam those hyacinths, and I'm gonna just cut some
here we go. Right
pussy
in here.
willow stems to give us some height, because a good container is always gonna have a lot of texture and a lot of different heights and sometimes different colors. So that's why this is the time of year for pussy willows.
I love pussy willows. They're so soft.
I know. Here, I'm just double checking my length. So here, just gonna cut those off. You're gonna stick these in the center. Just bang. See how fast this is? And it's like, you know, you don't have to be an artiste.
No.
There you go. Keep going. Never have too many.
This is beautiful.
There you go.
Isn't this beautiful, guys?
And again, a little bit of water. And in the, at the front door, out on the, where you can see it from your balcony, on your window, from the kitchen window or the TV room, whatever. Very simple.
All right, Charlie, thank you for all of those tips. Okay, when we come back, how to detoxify your home for spring. Stay tuned, but before we go, we'll check in on Sula.
You can work on healthy items, not really get it all underneath. Yep, it's fabulous.
I have some essential oil. Now this is lemon. It gives it that, exactly, that fresh, nice spring. It's an all-purpose cleaner, and you really can use it on any kind of surface. So it works really, really well.
To spring clean your home for a number of reasons, not the least of which, of course, is to significantly reduce symptoms of spring allergies. So pollen, for example, is something that I'm allergic to. So here to share her green spring cleaning tips is holistic nutritionist Michelle Book. Pleasure to have you, honestly. Why don't you walk us through some of the things that our audience can use to spring clean their home?
For sure, and there's lots of different options. And I think, in terms of pollen, I think starting there is a really good point. Pollen tends to peak between about 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. So during this time, we really want to keep our doors and windows closed and try and keep that pollen out. Using a high efficiency filter on our vacuum cleaner, our air conditioner, our furnace is also going to actually trap in pollen, again, trying to keep it out of the house.
How often should we be replacing the filter?
It definitely depends on the filter, what type of filter it is and where you're using it. But you want to, you just want to read the instructions. There'll definitely be instructions on the label. But if the pollen does get in, dust, dander, it really can affect our allergies, the runny nose, the itchy eyes. So we want to make sure that we're also dusting our house. Very important. Now, a mistake a lot of people make when it comes to dusting is that they use a dry cloth or a feather duster. And this really actually just spreads the dust around. So we want to make sure that we have a clean, damp cloth. Making sure it's damp is very important. I've got an example here, this microfiber cloth. It's actually going to trap in any kind of dust, and then after you've dusted, you want to make sure you just throw it into the laundry machine. Make sure you clean it and that dust is actually removed. Bedding is also very important. Having hypoallergenic bedding, this pillowcase here is an example. There's a zipper on the side, so it actually is going to lock away any dust, dander, mildew, fungi that tend to grow. And then, we want to think about how we're actually cleaning our home. So we know there's lots of different chemicals that are found in a lot of the cleaning products that we use on a daily basis. But the great news is you can make your own. So at the Canadian Health Food Association, we've got this great, you can visit our website, chfa.ca, we've got this great guide on how you can make all kinds of different cleaners. So I'm going to show you very easily, we'll do this together, how you can make an all-purpose cleaner. Now this is so simple. I have here a cup of vinegar. So if you want to just take this cup of vinegar and pour it into, there you go, into this. This is just, a spray bottle as our base. Vinegar works very, very well as a cleaner. I love to use it in my kitchen.
On your floors.
On my floors, in my bathroom. I sprayed on my entire bathroom with this cleaner, and this is just a cup of water. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And it's so easy and it's safe. That's the thing. A lot of the chemicals that are found in a lot of cleaning products, we don't actually know, the long-term effects, hormone disruptions, skin irritants, eye irritants. And, if we think about this, when we're spraying on our countertops or on our floors, and then, I have a 2-year-old son. So he's eating, he's dropping things on his floor.
That's a good point.
He's picking it up. That residue stays. So we want to be very mindful.
And this is very economical too.
It is. Really, really good point. Now I have some essential oil. Now this is lemon. It gives it that.
Smells so good.
Exactly, that fresh, nice spring clean. And you can
how many drops?
Just, between 10 to 20. You can just drop it in there. Yeah, exactly. And lemon is a great essential oil. I also like eucalyptus.
It also masks the smell of the vinegar as well, actually.
Yes, and that's exactly why we use it. Eucalyptus and tea tree as well. They're antimicrobial and anti-fungi, so they also are a good option. Or grapefruit. Again with that nice citrus fruit.
And this is just as effective as store-bought items to clean your home.
It is. It's an all-purpose cleaner, and you really can use it on any kind of surface. So it works really, really well.
Okay, so the next thing, of course, something that we all battle, I'm sure, is tarnished stainless steel. So what can we use to clean that?
Yeah, so, stainless steel fingerprints, a huge, huge problem. I have my small son, always on the fridge doors, grandchildren. So we want to use a natural cleaner. So I've got some olive oil here. Olive oil works so well. So you simply just take a little bit on your cloth, and we're going to demonstrate with this toaster. You just rub it on here. And again, you can see how well this is going to work. And then once we get that kind of first layer off with the olive oil, we would simply take a bit of vinegar. So use the other end of the cloth, and I'm just going to dip in a little bit of vinegar here, and then again, just wipe down.
So what is it about the combination of olive oil and vinegar that works so well?
It's a miracle. It's a miracle combination. It's a natural cleaner, and the vinegar and the olive oil together really just takes out that any kind of streaks. Now again, if you're not into making your own cleaning products, maybe you don't have time, or you can buy a lot of different alternatives.
Okay. So some suggestions you have here.
Yes, and these are just options, at your local CHFA member health food store. You can find lots of greener alternatives. And the thing is, with these cleaning products, it's not what's in them, it's basically what's not in them, I like to say. It doesn't have those phthalates, the parabens,
and so most of these products will have that listed on the label here.
Exactly. And fragrance. A lot of people don't realize, but fragrance is basically an umbrella term. There can be thousands of different chemicals in a product that says fragrance. And that's the thing, you know, it's estimated there's over 70,000 different chemicals in a lot of the household products that we use. And we don't know what those long-term effects are. We don't know, you know, what impact they have, especially for little ones.
So good to err on the side of safety, of caution, of course. And again, I gotta stress, I mean, it's so economical to just do it right at home, isn't it?
It really is, and the ingredients are so simple and so easy.
Michelle, that was great. When we come back, we'll gather the experts around the table to answer your questions, so stay tuned. But before we go, let's check in on Sulo just one last time.
Glasses and make it has to be darker because people have to look through the lenses at you.
When you're in a situation where you've got less than 4 hours of direct sunlight in the area where you want to garden, whether it's in pots or the ground, then you really have to choose plants that are tolerant of shade.
Welcome back. Let's hear from our audience now, starting with you, ma'am. What's your name?
Elaine Williams.
Welcome, Elaine. What's your question?
I have problems with my gardening. I live in a townhouse and I don't have much lawn, so I normally plant in pots like what you had today. But I only get a lot of tomatoes. I try planting kale. It doesn't come out that much. It comes out about this and that's it. I don't get that much sunlight.
Right, sunlight being your limiting factor. Right, so when you're in a situation where you've got less than 4 hours of direct sunlight in the area where you want to garden, whether it's in pots or the ground, then you really have to choose plants that are tolerant of shade. Now, there are some herbs, like parsley should grow fine for you. Many of the lettuces will grow in that kind of a situation. If you haven't had good experience with kale, I mean, it will grow probably, but it's just so small, it's not worth your trouble to grow it. Tomatoes, you said, did you get a few?
I always get lots of tomatoes.
Oh,
it's so funny, but I thought, you know, I would have gotten kale, but...
You really wanted the kale, eh? Well, try a different kind of kale, because there's many varieties out there, many of which are very ornamental as well as edible. One of the ones I love is called Bright Lights. It's actually charred, which might even be an interesting one for you to try as well.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with this.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so it's just the kale that's giving you trouble. Well, move that container into the sunny spot or put it on wheels and then roll it around with the sun. Catch the morning, catch the afternoon if you're not getting it midday, maybe. And remember, when we are planting in containers, we're using a container soil, we're using a planter with drainage holes, and we're checking those containers every day. You might be watering every day when it comes to container gardening.
Yeah, what are some of the plants that you could suggest that she would use in a house that doesn't get as much sunlight?
Well, of the edible ones, like I said, the lettuces, the parsleys, some of the herbs in general, chives, for example, will grow just about anywhere. Mint will grow anywhere. Lemon, verbena, those kinds of, that are often used for teas and that sort of thing, you can grow in quite low light.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. What's your name?
Joe Nemeth.
Hi, Joe. Welcome to the panel. And what's your question?
My question is golf related. I'm 62, an avid golfer, unfortunately very average. With all the development in technology, both on the club side and the ball side, where am I going to get my most bang for the buck in terms of improvements?
Club or ball?
Club or ball. Or player.
Well, I'm a big advocate for lessons, but certainly I would say start with the ball. Yeah, the ball has come a long way. It's seen a lot of changes in recent years. Most importantly, the cover of the golf ball has changed a lot. So now you can get a really great golf ball for a very good price.
I've been told if your club speed is less than 100, you shouldn't have a high compression ball. Is that true, or is that?
Yeah, I think the softer the compression, the better for a lot of golfers. Also, a lot of the majority of your golf swings are happening within 100 yards of the green.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely would be well served with a lower compression golf ball. Most golfers would.
Okay, thank you.
Great. All right. Thanks, Joe. Hello, ma'am. What's your name?
Hi, Mary Lou Vlad.
Welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
What's your question?
My question is, I wear glasses, and I just want to know how I can make my eyebrows pop.
It's Mary Lou?
Yes.
Mary Lou, eyebrows right now are very, very, very big. And almost every cosmetic line out there has something for you for eyebrows, as well as things like getting microbladed. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like getting them tattooed.
Oh, yes.
But they tattoo it in a way where they draw little hairs onto your eyebrows. But eyebrows definitely are the picture frames of the eyes. And if you want your eyes to look bigger, then you absolutely accentuate the eyebrow. You could do it with pencil, you could do it with powder, and generally speaking, when you wear glasses, your eyebrows really should show above the top rim of the eyeglass, and you're set.
Great, thank you so much.
Just to add on that, Robert, how about with your hair? I mean, how can you use your hair together with your eyebrows to frame your face?
Depending, like if you have a higher eyebrow with a shorter fringe, that'll show it off a little bit more. So you don't want to have them, you know, the long fringe covering your eyebrow. And so you can either do like you're doing, like a side part, which would accentuate your eyebrows a little bit more, and you can see them a little bit clearer. So yeah, just moving the part around really helps a lot.
Terrific.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your question. That's great. All right. Well, on the other side of the break, the big reveal. Don't go away. And in the meantime, here's what you had to say about some of our recent shows.
In regards to our marijuana and legalization episode, Catherine comments, I think taking the distribution away from organized crime is a great idea, but Big Pharma shouldn't be involved. I'm all for growing your own plants and keeping it in the hands of small local storekeepers. We could also use the tax dollars. It's worth a try. On our Facebook feed, Ken comments, can't believe how many idiots voted for that fool just because of legalizing weed. Shows you the mentality and disregard for important issues concerning this country. Nancy shares her thoughts via Facebook. Just hope they put some money into advertising the dangers to the development of the brain, especially those with bipolar disorder in their gene pool. It's also still smoking, and though it may not have the cancer additives of cigarettes, inhaling smoke of any variety is not good.
Welcome back. Earlier, we spoke with Zoomer Mag's Kim Izzo about what to watch out for when it comes to the latest makeup trends. Have a look.
One of the biggest trends for spring is the bold lip. And of course you can do red, that's a classic. But what we're also seeing are colors like this deep purple, fuchsia, and this bright orange, which is what I have on right now. And it's just a great way to follow the trend, and you can do it no matter what your age, no matter what the fullness of your lips. It's just a great way to follow the trend. Now, a lot of women are afraid of bold colors on their lips, but it is an easy, fun way to experiment, and there's nothing wrong with trying it because you can just wipe it off. But if you really are afraid of a bold lip, you can try the same trend on your nails. This spring we have lots of great bold colors that are out for your toes, for your fingers. It's a really great way and an easy way to follow the bold color trend. In keeping with the color trend, we now move up to the eyes. And yes, blue is back. Any kind of bright color you can choose, you know, purple, greens, whatever works with your complexion, you can try and experiment with. It's another great way to follow the color trend. The 80s are back in a big way. So you can use your blush across your cheeks, obviously, but also people are using it on your chin, your eyes, and even on your lips. And you can just do it all at once. It's a swath of all over color, and it'll give you a beautiful, healthy complexion. The next trend for spring is the highlighter. It's back bigger than ever. And you can use it it's very easy to use, you know, on your nose, your cheekbones, your chin, your forehead, literally just to give yourself that perfect healthy glow for spring. A final tip from the beauty department at Znaimer magazine. If you want to follow the color trend for spring, make sure you choose one product at a time to try. So either do your lips or your eyes or your cheeks, but maybe not all at the same time.
All right, well, I'm standing here with the experts who did a makeover on Sula, but before we bring her out, how did it go?
Amazing.
Yeah?
She's so excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, she looks good?
Oh, yeah.
Walk us through just a little bit of what you did again.
So I brought her length up quite a bit, in between what we like to call a lob, between a bob and long hair. So I gave her a lot stronger line, look a lot fuller. She looks absolutely stunning.
And at the same time, while Robert was working on the hair, you were doing her makeup.
Well, you're not going to believe it. A lot of what Kim showed just now, including the blush, look, the nails, the lips, I used everything on her. So you're going to see the colors that Kim just spoke about on a real canvas, a human canvas. And she looks fabulous.
And those really are the spring trends this season.
They are.
All right.
And if you're a pink person, you can go the same strength, but bright pink, but it's bright.
Okay, does everyone want to see Sula? Yeah? Why don't we bring her out? Woo! Yeah! So how do you feel?
I feel great. I feel really great. It's great. It's nice and light.
Yeah.
Love it.
Take your glasses off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
Look at that. And it's not too much, you know? It's not too much makeup. It's not too much with the hair. It's just all very natural looking.
She's got good skills. And Robert, oh my God. Amazing.
So I see you added some curl into the hair.
Yeah, summer's right around the corner. So one of the, you need some type of a balm, like a straightening balm to control that curly, frizzy hair, along also with a serum, just to kind of give the texture and soften out the frizz a little bit on the ends. Her fringe was going the opposite way, but she has a cowlick on this side. So what I do is, just a little tip and trick, if you come the opposite way, it gives it lift and it softens the lines a bit. So depending on where your cowlick is, try to go the opposite direction and it'll soften it and keep it. And then, yeah, just blow dried it with the curls so she can use either a curling iron or a round brush and leave it natural if she wants it.
Did you pick up some hair tips?
I sure did. I never even thought of doing that because that's a problem area there.
And Genya, how about you? Walk us through some of the tips.
Well, as I said, she said, make my cheeks show up. So I did, and then I contoured also around the neck, and if you take a look, it looks like the neck is back more. And eyebrows, as I said, very, very important. They frame her eyes, and she wanted a smoky eye, so I gave her a smoky eye because she's going to see her man tonight.
Yeah. I like how pronounced her eyebrows are.
I love it. Yeah. And she was very nervous about the lip color because she's never worn it before, but it looks fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. Sula, what do you have going on tonight?
Oh, we're going out to dinner. They don't know.
No?
He doesn't know, so I'm going to surprise him.
That's great. Okay, well, that's amazing. Now, everyone stay where you are. We have some giveaways for the audience, including a free mini facial and product sample courtesy of Shoppers Drug Mart Beauty Boutique. Samples of Dr. Roebuck's Pure Facial Hair Cream and Strivectin hair products, and a free facial from Eden College. Thanks for tuning in to this special spring edition of theZoomer. We'll see you next time. It's time to zoom out.